Subway employees of Reddit. What was the grossest sub you've had to make? A drunk guy came in and asked for a 6-inch flatbread with just mayo, garlic mayo, and ketchup, and he wanted it toasted. Subway worker coming up 9 years, managing for 4 years. Had many odd combinations, but the top one is when a drunk came in and wanted everything on the sub. And I mean everything. I explained that if he had everything it would be very expensive, and he insisted. So I opened up a footlong, heated all the meats and cheese, toasted and all the salads with a majority of the sauces, salt and pepper. Being very large sandwich, we couldn't close the sub, so we had to open another footlong and put it on top. Took 2 sub wrap to wrap it up. Came to 70-ish. Can't remember exactly. $. Guy paid and off he went. A guy came in with a Tupperware bowl of natto and asked us to put it on a chicken and bacon ranch melt. We're not allowed to do that, so we just made him the sandwich and he took it to his table. He came back a few minutes later and asked if we could heat his sandwich more. It was pretty clear that he'd added the natto himself and now wanted us to cook the damn stuff. He was polite, so my co-worker obliged. Our place smelled like rotting rat anus for the rest of the day. Oh boy, something I can answer. I used to work for Subway back in 2008 to 2010, and we had this dude that would come in 3 times a week. He rotated between 3 sandwich choices, each one truly grotesque. Foot-long white Italian bread, triple meat meatball sub, triple American cheese, not toasted, with mayo and sweet onion teriyaki sauce. 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. 2 foot-long white Italian bread, triple meat tuna, triple American cheese, double foot-long portion of bacon toasted, tons of onions, extra mayo. 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. 3 foot-long Italian white bread, triple meat cold cut combo, triple American cheese, not toasted, loaded up with tons olives and onions, then extra mayo, sweet onion teriyaki, and honey mustard. 1 scoop of tuna for his cat on the side. Closing his sandwiches was literally a daunting task, especially the meatball one because it was so slimy and they cost so much, even though back then they were 5 Albanian Lex dollars each. Because he had triple everything on them, though it was nice that he always got some tuna for his cat. The owner of the store wouldn't charge him for it usually because he was such a frequent customer. I worked at Subway for a few months during my freshman year of college. The grossest thing I ever made wasn't a sub but a salad I made for an older lady. She came in right before closing and she asked for a salad with shredded lettuce, cut up ham, and mayonnaise. So much mayo. I squeezed a few lines on her salad and looked up at her to ask if that was too much, and she said, "Oh no baby, I'm going to need a lot more than that," and I ended up squeezing what seemed like almost half of the squeeze bottle on her salad. The top of the lettuce ham bowl she asked for was completely covered in mayo like a blanket of creamy snow. I swear the ratio of mayo to lettuce was like 3:1. She even got extra mayo in a little cup on the side just in case. It really stuck in my memory because I remember she got so much mayo we had to prep another bottle of it before we could close. I made many a gross sub for late night drunks. One that stands out particularly is a foot-long seafood with the entire bottle of light mayo and 3 whole tomatoes double toasted. Not sandwich, but when I worked at Subway there was an option to turn any sub into a salad for a nominal fee. Guy comes through and orders a hot meatball salad. I've never been able to get it out of my mind. It was a salad and the entire situation was gross. So this dude wearing tan and gold, rimless sunglasses walked in, and kept his sunglasses on. He tells me he wants a chopped salad. I don't remember the meat or veggies he asked for, but I do remember the toppings. After reading my name tag, he asked for olive oil. As he peered at me over his glasses he said, "I like it really wet, Lady and Luna," and licked his lips. I put in a whole bunch, but kept repeating how wet he liked it, asking for more oil. I put in at least half a bottle of oil. Then he goes on to say how he loves Parmesan cheese, like a lot of it. I shook in a bunch of cheese, but he still wasn't satisfied. I was pissed off and creeped out at this point, so I took the lid off the cheese and dumped the entire shaker full into the bowl. He was facing thrilled. "Lady and Luna, you're the best. You make the best salad. No one anywhere else gets it like you do. You're perfect." He came back several times, asking for me, and if I was there he refused to be served by anyone else. Eventually, my shift manager stood next to me while I made the salad so the dude couldn't make weird-ass comments. He stopped coming in after that. Before getting fired I would often have a customer that would order a full-long honey wheat with nothing but onions, hot sauce, mayo and black olives. It smelled of feet and sickness when it was done being toasted. A foot long with lots of marinara sauce and pickle juice. Not pickles, the juice from the bag that they came in from the supplier. Nasty. I worked there in college. One guy would come in and order 2 quadruple meat, quadruple cheese BLTs. That's 40 pieces of bacon per sandwich. He would house both of them sitting right there in the dining room. 80 pieces of bacon down one pie hole. We were across the road from a pub. A customer who'd been across the road all day came and ordered a meatball sub. He asked me to put every meat we had on it. Seafood, tuna, cold meats, the 4 different chickens we had at the time. Everything was an absolute bitch to close and cost him something like $40 for one 6-inch sandwich IRC. He sat down inside and ate it all. My mom, Rip, used to get a tuna salad sub with black olives and onions, with meatballs and extra marinara for one of her co-workers. She told her co-worker one day that she couldn't get it anymore cause it made her car smell bad. After she passed, I ended up with her car. I swear sometimes on hot days, I can smell that nasty-ass sandwich. Lol, it's been 5 years now. Late to the party, but I feel like everyone needs to hear about the cheese man. This trucker comes in once or twice a week and orders a tuna sub. Before you put the tuna on, he wants the bread coated on both sides with mayo, next the tuna, then the Swiss cheese, double portion, then cover the tuna in ranch, then add 2 big handfuls of shredded cheese. Next more ranch, then 2 bigger handfuls of shredded cheese. More ranch, you ask? Yes. The answer is always yes. Next is onions and green peppers. Toast it now while it weighs as much as a healthy newborn. More shredded cheese. Now 1 last quarter of a bottle of ranch. Please add a strip of light mayo before you wrap it. It was the nastiest, messiest pile of shit I have ever seen, and I used to live in a ghetto. Tuna and meatball, hands down. Actually, runner-up would be those customers that would ask for more mayo after you gave them the requisite amount, and then ask for more, and then you're like, tell me when to stop, and they just stand there. Then the bottle starts making that farting sound signifying it's out of condiment. So you take the cap off and scoop the dredges onto the sandwich, and the customer is still looking at you expectantly. So you go to the fridge and grab another bottle of mayo, and you start putting that on the sandwich, and eventually you're halfway through the second bottle. So you stop and you look them in the eye and say, how's that? And they just give you a disgruntled nod and move on to the register, and now you get to try to close a sandwich that looks like Thanos came into a soggy piece of bread. A guy in front of me in line ordered a tuna sandwich and then pulled out a Ziploc bag of grain sugar. He asked if they'd put the sugar on top of all the tuna before roasting the sandwich. They did it, but I can't imagine caramelized tuna would be my choice for food. Former Subway employee. This elderly man named Larry would come in every other day and get a foot-long tuna. He would eat one half that day, the other half the next day. Tuna on wheat with nothing except handfuls of jalapenos. I mean, one huge fistful on each half and then some. You could barely close the sandwich. I'm sure in his old age he had perhaps lost some sense of taste, but my God, I don't know how he even could taste the tuna. Not particularly gross, I suppose, but definitely stood out. I worked at Subway for some time with really close friends. I dare say that we created some of the nastiest shit known to man. The worst would always be the seafood sensation, which was imitation crab. On its own, not the worst thing. When combined with the other horrors available at Subway, it can turn into a real gut bomb. I've seen it combined with sweet onion sauce, tuna, always gross amounts of mayo, jalapenos. The worst was when toasted. This imitation crab would facing curdle under the toaster and stink up the whole store for hours. The one that takes the cake, seafood sensation, foot-long wheat, toasted, mayo, and crumbled up oatmeal raisin. Edit. Since this is getting attention, bonus Subway story. As I mentioned, I worked there with some of my best friends. We constantly got into prank wars, because minimum wage. My friend was going on vacation for a week, so I devised the master prank. We had lockers where we kept our shirts, visors, personal items. I took one of our poly gloves and filled it with tuna, milk, mayo, seafood sensation, and vinegar. I cut the tiniest hole into a finger of the glove to create a slow drip. and taped the monstrosity to the roof of his cubby. He returned from vacation to the nastiest, stinkiest glob that man can conceive. I've been waiting for this. I worked at a Subway the summer before and after my senior year in high school. I wouldn't say it was a job I disliked, more along the lines of a job I absolutely facing despised. The non-stop stream of rude and entitled customers, all of which had some smart-ass remark about your sandwich artist unregistered trademark skills, just left you feeling bitter and cold, like a bag of frozen Italian urban cheese dough straight out of the freezer. It was closing time on a weeknight, maybe 5 minutes before we could lock the door for the day. Weeknights were usually dead slow after the post-work dinner rush, and the assistant manager who usually closed with me was cool with us putting up most of the tables, shutting down one of the bathrooms, 2 unisex, sweeping the usual sit. More often than not we didn't see a single customer after 9 p.m. In walks this older white guy, upper 50s low 60s, absolute trailer trash, beer belly hanging out from under his Walmart Southern Pride t-shirt, pants that clearly showed ass crack, flip-flops, mangy unwashed hair. Dude was probably already 2 6-packs in when he decided to drive over to get the disgusting pig slop sub he was about to order straight out of hell. Gimme one of them foot-long S on white. He's clearly already annoyed that I have to wash my hands before I put on gloves and grab a fresh knife. He starts huffing and muttering Jesus. While waiting, go ahead Ben, put some shredded cheese on there and microwave it. Sure, boss, already gross, but whatever. People ordered grossed all the time. Looking at you, mayonnaise in a salad. Gimme double tuna, chicken breasts, and bacon, and put the chicken in the middle of the tuna. Sure, I'll have to charge you for triple meat and the bacon is extra. Is that okay? Yeah, whatever. So I start creating this elementary school lunch from the shadow realm. I'm a little pissed because normally for double meat, we would hollow out the bread to make room. Not possible when nuke cheese is glued to the bread already. He also orders 3 more cheeses on here. Toast the facer. Toast it again. At this point, the bread is hard as a rock, the tuna has these weird dried bits on the outskirts of the sandwich. Then we get to the veggies and condiments. Gimme a bit of everything. I just stared at him for a second. It already wouldn't close, and he wanted a dozen veggies on top. So, I sighed to myself and grabbed the first one, probably cucumbers. It's definitely closing time by now. Go on and put a little more than that. Now, if you've ever noticed, Subway has specific amounts of the stuff they put on. 6 tomatoes, 6 cucumbers, 4 cheeses. Normally, for a nice customer, we don't charge for extra veggies, but it didn't stop there. He ordered double, and sometimes triple of every single facing vegetable, the whole time being rude as possible about why I wasn't putting as much as he liked, telling me he could make it better and faster, asking why some items were already put away in the fridge that he wanted. Non-stop bitching. Alright now, gimme some extra mayo, mustard, ketchup, sweet onion, ranch, oil and vinegar. I sighed, starting to break. Sir, we unfortunately don't carry ketchup. Well, goddamn boy, you better find some then, shouldn't you? I bit my tongue and called my ASST manager out of the back. He explained the same thing, and they had a mini back and forth that needed with him saying he would call corporate tomorrow about it. Whatever. Meanwhile, I am at my breaking point with Mr. Krabs' appetizer. This facing monster is dripping with veggie water, sopped in mayonnaise, and definitely is not going to close. He noticed at this point, because he started watching me intently. You gon' have to push down hard on that. Now, boy, better make sure it's sealed tight. I don't know what the fuck a sealed sandwich is, but as soon as I tried to close it, the entire thing just collapsed on itself. My hands are covered in tuna ranch mustard globs, and trying desperately to save it. This guy loses it. Are you goddamn retarded? Work at a sandwich place and can't even make a fasten sandwich. Sir, I'm sorry but you ordered a large amount of items extra. I can definitely make you a salad. I don't want no damn salad. Get that manager of yours and let's see you do it again, or this'll be your last night. Sure. Clearly almost half an hour after closing, my AM comes out, and refuses to let me make it. We toss his entire first sandwich straight into the garbage. He makes the exact same sandwich, microwave cheese, 4 or 5 meats, an entire facing garden, and a tub of lard on top. Surprise! Surprise, the sit falls apart again. My AM tells me to go ahead and ring him up. The guy starts screaming, I ain't paying for no goddamn sandwich that ain't what I facing ordered. He starts to storm out. My AM yells, Sir, If you don't pay, we'll pull the security footage and file a police report. He does not want that. Pissed off and half drunk, he comes to the register. His total is like $45 for one sandwich. Best part? He makes it a combo with a dozen raspberry white chocolate cookies. Have a nice day, sir. Fuck off, you piece of shit. Storms out, drives over the curb as he wheels out. The next day I sliced my hand open trying to open a BBQ sauce bag and the manager tried to write me up for it. I quit right before lunch. Fuck that guy. Fuck Subway. Way back when we used to make cheesy bread by pulling out the middle and melting the cheese in its place. We don't do that anymore. Thank God. There was this person that wanted that. Then she asked for nothing else except oil. I mean, literally a shit ton of oil. There was a pool about 3 centimeters filling the excavation of bread. She gave a $10 tip, so that was kinda nice. But I'll never forget you, Oompa Loompa oily cheese bread lady. When I used to work there was once this guy who told me I want the steak and cheese, but I want it with everything that I can get for free. He got it toasted with all the vegetable options. But the disgusting part is that when I asked him if he wanted any sauce on it, he said, "Which can I get for free?" I said, "Any, all of them." This man made me squeeze every single sauce option on his sub, every single one. I wrapped that thing so many times and the sauce still leaked through the paper. It was freaking disgusting.